Hope you can all hear me. My name's Adam Charlton and I'm a Senior Recruitment Officer here at Richmond, the American International University in London. We're coming live from our Richmond campus, and today's webinar is going to introduce the university and talk about our undergraduate degree programs. Okay, so I'm going to let you know about the Richmond difference. So this is what makes Richmond unique, certainly compared to other universities in the UK and perhaps even to some universities in the US as well. Outline our undergraduate degree programs, our internships and study abroad opportunities, and some practical details around the application process and applying. And then at the end, there'll be the opportunity for you to ask any questions you have. If you do have questions as we go along, you can type them into the questions panel on your GoToWebinar dial, and then I will answer them at the end for you. Okay. So first thing to say, Richmond has two campuses here in London. So we've got the Richmond campus, and we also have a campus in Kensington, which is in central London. Richmond is home to first and second year students, and then Kensington has our third year students, fourth year students, and the master's students who are all taught in Kensington as well. And on the next slide here, you can see a map of simplified map of London. Richmond is down in the left-hand corner, so it's in southwest London, and Kensington is right there in central London, in the middle of the map. The Richmond campus is very well connected, so it's on the district line. That's the green tube line you can see, and if you take that, then it takes about 45 minutes, 50 minutes to get to the Kensington campus. And if you take the red line, that's a train line, and that is takes you to Waterloo, and there are fast trains. So you can pretty much be anywhere in London within sort of 50 to 60 minutes, which is absolutely great. Okay. So London obviously is an amazing city, and it's an especially great city to be a student in. It was recently voted #1 international student city in a QS survey, and there are lots of amazing things you can do outside the classroom to take advantage of your time in London, particularly visiting galleries, museums, exhibitions, music concerts, and of course it's a great place to go traveling and exploring other parts of Europe as well. And here at Richmond we do try and do as much stuff outside of the classroom to take advantage of that. Okay. So here I'm just going to outline some of the reasons why you might be considering Richmond and some of the advantages that some of our strengths that we have. So we're a very small university. We have about 1,400 students in total, and that's reflected in very small class sizes. So average class size here is 20 students. That means that you're having lots of discussions, lots of debate. Teachers know who you are, and there's a very personal approach, and that obviously enhances your learning experience. We have accommodation on campus, both here at Richmond and in our Kensington campus as well. Which is quite unusual, so you do have the opportunity to stay in university accommodation for the whole time you're studying with us. We have some great study abroad opportunities. I'm going to talk about those in a bit more detail later on. This is where you can go and study at a partner university for maybe one semester or for a whole year during your studies. We are a very international university. International is in the name. And of our student makeup, I would say that we do have over sort of 60 different nationalities studying with us, which for such a small university is a very high number. That's obviously great when you're in the classroom. You're hearing different perspectives, different opinions. Not everybody comes from the same place with from the same background. It's also a great way for you to make friends from different parts of the world and interact. For later in life. Every student at Richmond will have a personal academic advisor. So this is one of the professors here, which will act as your guide during the time that you are studying. So you can talk to them about studying abroad, about your internship. If you're not sure about which classes to pick, then they will advise you and help you to do that. Okay. We have high contact hours here at Richmond. Average class time is 15 hours for first year students, which is above average for here in the UK. We have a very generous scholarship scheme. I'm going to mention that in more detail as well. And we also have integrated internships. So our internships, you do them in your final year. They're part of your course. They're credit bearing. And there are some really great places that our students go to work in London. So yeah, just some brief outlines. So we have a 93% graduate employment rate. So this means that within 6 months of graduating from university, 93% of our students have a graduate level job or are in full-time education. We have dual degrees, that picture on the left, the merging of the American flag and the British flag. So each student here, no matter what program they're on, they will receive a US degree certificate and a UK degree certificate. This is great if you're ever thinking of going or live and working in the US, and obviously shows that you are have had a real international education. We have a great alumni network. We've got 100 alumni come from over 140 countries, and there's over 15,000 alumni, which for a small university is very large. This opens up a great network for you if you're thinking of in terms of looking for a job or trying to do business in other parts of the world. We also have been voted Best International Student Experience by a company here in the UK, Independent Higher Education. So that's something that we're very proud of. Richmond is a liberal arts university. It's an American-style liberal arts university. So we do have a liberal arts approach and philosophy that permeates throughout our degree programs. In terms of what this means to you, it really centres on employability, so giving you essential skills that are going to make you more employable and make you industry ready when you graduate. We really emphasise critical and creative thinking skills, communication skills, both oral and written, so you're assessed in multiple assessment methods while you're studying here. So you do a lot of group work, a lot of presentations, practical work, as well as some exams. And the liberal arts approach gives you variety and flexibility. Unlike a UK university, you could enter Richmond as what we call an undeclared student. So this means you don't have a degree program and you do a liberal arts core in the first year and you get to pick and choose what you study a bit more. It also allows you to take up classes or drop classes as and when you're interested in them. So you might decide you might be an economics major, but you could still do a minor in photography, for example. If you've got sort of two competing interests, or you've got another hobby that you would still like to keep up, you can do that while you're here at Richmond. Our liberal arts core classes. So for any American students, you will be doing this liberal arts core in the first year. For our UK and European students, it will depend on the degree program and what qualifications you enter with. But you can see the modules on the left or right of the screen there. So we have an arts class, creative expression, science class, scientific reasoning. There's humanities classes, research and writing, and transitions as well. And these really give you some of those skills that I mentioned earlier that are going to prepare you better for university life and make you job ready for when you graduate and enhance your social time while you're here in London. The transitions class, particularly fun. You explore London, you sign up to the British Library, go and learn about how to do university level research and really adapt to understand what is expected of you while you're studying here at university. In terms of the Richmond difference when it comes to scholarships and tuition fees, so this slide is particularly for our UK and EU students. Tuition fees are £9,250 per year. If you meet our entry requirements, you will receive a scholarship, the Chancellor Scholarship you see there of £3,085. So this means to you, the tuition fees, you'll be expected to pay £6,165. This is considerably cheaper than other UK universities. And over the course of 3 or 4 years means that you have a significant savings. And ultimately it means you're going to be in less debt when you graduate. Okay. International undergraduate fees are £12,500. They're £14,500. And the US fees are $38,000. There are scholarships for US students and for international students as well. They vary country by country. And if you have a specific question about one of those, I'll be able to answer that at the end. So, degree programs. So we have two schools here at Richmond. We have the business school and we have a school of arts, communications and social science. We've got 10 business degrees you can see here. Business management, one of the most popular degree programs. There is 2 strands, an entrepreneurship strand and an international business strand. Essentially entrepreneurship, you're looking at starting your own business, working for a startup, how you upscale from a very small business to become a very large business. And there are obviously different rules and regulations around that. International business, focusing much more on multinational global companies, looking at global supply chains, currency exchange, operating in different markets and the rules and regulations that would entail. Then have traditional economics degree, fashion management and marketing. So this, if you think of this as a business management and marketing degree, but all the case studies and all the examples focus on the fashion industry. So you might look at a large company like Zara. They might have a design factory in Spain. They might make clothes in India, and then they have them shipped back to Europe and distributed in shops within, 5 weeks. So you're looking at how a business like that operates. Financial investment, very much focused on banking, working in foreign exchange, international investment opportunities. Quite a lot of maths in that program. But yeah, for you guys looking to get into the banking and finance, London is obviously a world capital for that. And we have some great internships and visits that we do within that degree program. The marketing program, looking at sort of traditional business marketing. We also have more of an advertising and marketing degree as well. Accounting and finance, very much traditional accounting degree. You will take some of the ACCA papers during this degree, which means you would be exempt from them when you graduate later on. You'll also notice that that is the only Bachelor of Science degree that we have. And then lastly, at the bottom there, this is our International Sports Management degree. And this is taught up in Leeds, which is in the northwest of England. And the RIASA is the Richmond International Academic Soccer Academy. So this is a business management, a sports management degree, but alongside the degree, you will partake in football training and play semi-pro football matches at the weekend. So on Saturdays, you do 12 hours of sort of football training and practice alongside the degree program. School of Communications, Arts, Social Science. So there's sort of 3 categories of degree here. I'll start at the bottom. Psychology degree is on its own. So it's BPS accredited. This is the British Psychological Society. They are the governing body for psychologists here in the UK, and our degree is accredited by them. So we are teaching the skills and the topics that they want psychologists to have. We do have a psychology lab at our Kensington campus, and it's one of our very popular degree program. Next category of degrees around the humanities, so political science, international relations, international history, and American studies. International relations, again, a very popular degree. You're in London, international city, and an international university, learning in small class sizes, having discussions, having debates. And there's an extensive list of topics and courses you can choose from while you're studying this program. And there's quite a lot of integration with the international relations, politics, history, and American studies program. For any European and UK students interested in American studies, obviously learning American studies at American university with American peers is very attractive. And there is the opportunity for you to do a study abroad semester in the US or the second or third year. So you can really build up a network of American friends, business contacts. So yeah, if you do end up going to live and work in the US, that will really really help you. And then the last category of degrees there, you can see the BA Art History, BA Communications, Advertising and PR, Media Studies, Film and Photography, and the Film Studies. Art history and visual culture, so sort of 2 elements: traditional art history element, so looking at the history of art, the history of paintings and artists, And then visual culture has a slightly more modern twist on that. So you're looking at slightly more modern art and its place in today's society. Communications degree, we've got 2 strands. So the first one, advertising and PR. So this relates a bit more to the PR being public relations, relates a bit more to the marketing side of things. So obviously advertising campaigns, messaging, being a bit more creative with different companies there are here in London. And then media studies, a bit more traditional, looking at journalism, new types of media, and what it's actually like to work for a newspaper or a news organisation. Film and photography and the film studies. Film and photography is focused a bit more on practical elements of using cameras, using photography equipment. You will sort of produce work during that degree that relates to the areas of film and photography you're interested in. Obviously, you do have a little bit of a look at the history and some case studies of famous photographers and film directors. The film studies degree is a bit more all-encompassing. So you're looking at the whole business of film, right through from acting, script writing to actually filming, shooting, editing, how to market films. So you're getting a whole overview of the business, and there are different areas you can specialise in again. For full details of the classes or the modules you would take, these are listed on the website, and I'd really recommend you go and have a look on the website for some more detailed information about the exact classes you would take. You can see here at the top of the page, new for 2019. So traditionally, American degrees are 4 years long, and for 2019, we have some of those degrees not from the business school are now available just as direct 3-year entry. This is particularly good for our UK and European students. Most of the American students will still probably have to do a 4-year program. Maybe they can finish it in 3 years. But the programs you see listed there do have direct 3-year entry. They have slightly higher and slightly more specific entry requirements. So you can see it there that we need a minimum of 96 UCAS points from at least 3 A levels. And there will be some specific subject requirements within that as well. Okay, so one of the main reasons students are attracted to Richmond is our internship program. Being a small university with a small graduating cohort each year, we can offer every student that studies with us the opportunity to do an internship. So you would take your internship in the final year. So you can do it in the fall, spring or summer semester, but they're usually in the summer semester. So after you've finished all your studying, so this is going to be in May, June, July. They are usually 8 to 10 weeks in length. And as I mentioned before, they are credit bearing. So they are integrated into the degree. You are assessed on your internship. So you have to do a diary, a presentation and write a report. And you actually get credits for this. This means they are graduate level. So you are learning skills that are really going to help you when you're looking for a job. And quite a few of our students do get offered further work with the companies they do internships with. And some even get offered full-time jobs with them. And that's obviously something that, you're coming to university to get a job, and our system or the way our degrees are structured really do enable you to do that. Obviously, being in London, for many of the degrees that we teach, London is the world capital for those industries, finance and banking, advertising and PR, international relations. These are the world centres. The big charities, big NGOs, big companies are all located in London. And we do have connections with many of those, and hopefully can get you some internships within those companies. We also have internships opportunities in the USA, in Europe, Asia. These are often through a third party, and sometimes there are costs involved. But just to let you know that if you did want to do an internship back in your own country or somewhere else, then there is the opportunity to do that as well. So here, just 2 examples. I hope, I'm not going to read them out, but I hope that you'll be able to read on your screens what 2 of our students have done. So first one, Katrina, she's an alumni, majored in economics, and did an internship at Ernst & Young, EY, which is one of the big 5 accountancy firms in the world. So obviously, she then graduates, she's got her degree, she's got the internship on her CV, she's got a project or a thesis of the area that she wants to go into. So then she's in a great position to look for a job when she graduates. Miriam, she actually did an internship while she was still a student here, so not in her final year, but she worked in the Houses of Parliament with an MP called John Carruthers. She was on an international relations programme, so obviously working in Parliament, understanding how decisions MPs make can actually have effects on charities, NGOs, the environment, was absolutely fascinating for her. Okay, so study abroad opportunities, at Richmond. So I'm just going to explain a little bit. So study abroad is where you, as a Richmond student, can go and study at one of our partner universities for one semester or for a whole year. Okay, so these are exchange agreements. So you are taking the same classes you would do here at Richmond, and you're getting the credit. It all counts for towards your Richmond degree, and it doesn't extend your study time, but you get to have this cool experience at another university. We have about 28 partners around the world, and you can see the countries that we have partners in listed there. There's about 8 in the USA, so I know a lot of the European and UK students are keen to go to the US. What's the best thing about studying abroad, particularly if you go somewhere like the US, is that you're still paying Richmond tuition. So this means that you have the opportunity to perhaps go to some universities that cost $50,000–$60,000, but you're only paying the UK tuition here at Richmond. So it can be really really cost effective. So sorry, a bit more detail there. So the credits you take in other universities, count towards your Richmond degree. You don't delay graduation. As I mentioned, you can go in the 2nd or 3rd year. You do need a minimum GPA. We don't let students with really bad grades go, obviously. And it's reciprocal exchange, so no tuition paid. You do have to pay for your flights, and you have to pay for your living costs while you're at the partner universities. But obviously those are just being transferred from Richmond. Bit of academic insight for you here. So there are studies that show that students have studied abroad do have better long-term employment prospects. And there is quite an interesting paper written by Paul Blackmore. So the headline figure there. So 50% less likely to be unemployed. Okay. 44% more likely to be in a managerial position within 10 years. And just generally, people say that if you've had an experience studying abroad, if you've been in a different environment, that you're going to be more culturally aware, you have a better ability to work collaboratively in teams and understand people from different countries and backgrounds. Obviously, we live in a global world, so these are some really great skills that you want to get while you're at university. Philosophy that our study abroad department have, it isn't a year of your life, it's a life in a year, and there's just a few pictures for you there. So we've had students go as far away as Australia, Mexico, USA, and then obviously Paris, a little bit closer to home. Okay. Richmond has student clubs and societies just like any other university. Obviously, we are slightly limited. Being a smaller university, we don't have 5 football teams and, as extensive sports clubs as some larger universities, but you can see some of the clubs and societies we have there. And what I would say, and what's really good for you, is that if you want to start a club or society, then you have the ability to do this. We have a student affairs department which supports all the students with any activities and events that they do. Student events, all the events are student-led and student-run, and there is funding available. So we've had students start Harry Potter societies, film societies. We have a really good psychological association. And being in a city like London, there are so many different things you can do if you have one of these societies, and it's a great way to meet people, make friends, and experience what London has to offer. Application processes. So we have a direct application form on our website. You also can apply through something called UCAS. So this is a university and college application service. It's what most UK and European students will use if they're applying to universities in the UK. You do one application and then you can send it to 5 different universities. And then you can also apply using the Common App. This is sort of a US version of UCAS, okay? And again, you do one application and you can send this to, I think, to up to 20 different universities. So generally, if you're from the US, you would use the Common App to apply. If you're from the UK or Europe, you can use the UCAS application. And for international students, unless you're applying to multiple universities in the UK, then I would just recommend using the direct application form on our website. As with most other universities, we do ask you to write a personal statement or some sort of essay saying why you want to study this particular degree at Richmond University. And then we would also obviously need copies of your high school transcripts, passport, a reference from one of your teachers, and any other supporting evidence that you have to sort of sell yourself and show us what a great student you are. Okay, that's my bit finished now. We're going to have a question and answer session. I can see that there's a few questions that people have asked already during the presentation. So I'm going to answer some of those. And if any of you do have any questions, please do type them in the box. Yeah, we will answer them for you. So there's just one here asking about application deadlines. So as a general rule, we would ask you to try and submit all your documents. If you are starting in end of August, September, to submit your documents certainly by the end of April at the latest. Most of your schools will ask you to do this sooner. So I know in the US, they will ask you to do this by the end of March. And in the UK, the first big deadline for UCAS is in January. Yeah. For international students, you will need to apply for a visa to study in the UK. So it's really good to have all your documents in, as I said, by that sort of April, end of May. So you have time to go and prepare your visa things. Also, if any of you still studying at school, obviously, you're going to have final exams, so it's good to get your applications out the way as early as possible so you can focus on your final exams and get the best grades that you can. Okay, I've got a couple of other questions here. So someone asking about the way classes are structured between the 2 campuses. So in the first and second year, all your classes will be at the Richmond campus. And in the 3rd and 4th year, all your classes will be at the Kensington campus. So in theory, you don't have any reason to visit the other campus until you're in the 3rd and 4th year. Yeah. So yeah, you don't have to travel in between the 2 campuses. And generally, all the 1st and 2nd year students, we have accommodation here at Richmond. They will get accommodation on campus. They will study here for 2 years and then move to Kensington. So let me just have a, yeah. Okay, so I've got a question here about transfer students. So obviously the American system does allow you to transfer in and out quite easily. That's one of the advantages. And if you were looking to transfer to Richmond this September, I would advise you to get all your documents ready sort of as soon as possible. We start early. Term starts on the 27th of August. So we really need to have all your documents by the end of July in order to process you in time so you can start the full semester in September. Richmond, as an American university, operates a 2-semester system. So we do 15 weeks of teaching from the very beginning of September up until December. There's then 1 month for a Christmas holiday, and then we'll do 15 weeks of teaching from the beginning of January right through to the end of April, beginning of May. So unlike a traditional European or UK university, we don't have a long Easter holiday. There's a break over the weekend, but we don't have this 1 month Easter holiday like you would do at other UK or European universities. Had a question here about internships. So someone asking if you can do an internship at a company that you know of, or maybe in a business that's owned by a friend or a family. That is possible, but because the internships, we award credit for the internships, or if you want to receive credit for your internship, we have to ensure that you're going to be doing certain things during that internship. So we would need to check with the company that they could fulfill those requirements. Obviously, you could still do the internship there, but maybe you wouldn't get the credit. But that's something, we have a dedicated internships office, so that's something that we could discuss with them. You could discuss with them, sorry. Okay. So that seems to be all the questions. Does anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, this webinar will be available online. You can follow us on social media. And if I just give you, sorry, it's not on here, an email address as well if you have any questions. I'm sure you've got our contact information already. If you do have any other questions, you can send an email to inquiries@richmond.ac.uk. Just going to wait a few more minutes. Obviously, yeah, if anyone does have any other questions, please feel free to type them in the box. Just had one other question here about the sort of student makeup or where students come from. So I would say about 30% of our students come from the USA, about 20% come from the UK, and the other 50% mostly come from Europe, and then other countries are non-European countries as well. So we have quite large cohorts of students from Spain, Italy, Sweden, Germany, France, and then essentially one or two students from lots of other countries around the world. So that really makes up the nice diverse student population that we have here. Okay, guys, unless there's any more questions, last chance, I'm going to finish the webinar. Thank you very much for listening. This will be available on the website soon, so if you'd like to come back and check any details, you can. Obviously, I do recommend you go and have a look at the website. That's got a lot of detailed information on there, and there's some good videos as well. Thank you very much for listening, and yeah, hopefully speak to you all again soon. Bye.